stories. So the boy that she was focused on that thought would be the biggest threat to her hood and the life changing, it was actually the boys who were already there, and that's Warren and Colin. That's all I'll say about that. I don't want to give it away.
I love Madrina's character because we all have this aunt. And I know in Caribbean cultures, and as much as my family is technically South American, we are Caribbean by practice. And in Caribbean cultures, you often have aunties. And aunties are cousins that are older than you or family friends that are so strongly intertwined with the family that they become aunties. And Madrina is that character, and she kind of holds like this special role where she has power with the parents as well as the children. And her character is kind of like that sense of, while mom and dad are looking out for one part of your life, Madrina's character is also the character that says, I want you to have X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to encourage you to grow in that. And I understand that. I love her character because her character sees far beyond just the idea that you're living in this hood right now. This character sees beyond that to see the girls getting education, to see the girls moving away from the neighborhood. And she encourages growth in a way that sometimes your parents can't because they're more focused on safety. And so I love Madrina's character because she encourages growth and knowledge in a way that sometimes parents can't because their job is for protection.
Absolutely. She does nurture the growth in Zuri. And I think that was her main point of being in the story, because she gave Zuri something that no one else could. Her parents were so busy working that they didn't have time to nurture her dreams. And Zuri was so focused on staying in the hood that she had no idea what was waiting for her on the outside, which she kind of got a little peek into it when she went on her college visit, which is my next question. How do you think going to Howard opened her up, and meeting the grandmother, and Darius being there, and all of that? What do you guys think of that visit?
I love that scene. That's probably one of my favorite, my favorite scenes in the whole book was her taking that bus trip, because they talk about it in the beginning, like how little of the world these girls have actually seen. Like they could count on one hand, like the trips they had been on as a family, because they're a big family. And it's usually like, little stuff close by, And so her sister, and I want to make a note of that, it was her sister, the sister who had left home, who actually got her that bus ticket to go and experience or just go visit this college she was interested in for a day. And so Zuri, one thing I can say, she's a smart girl. Like, she realizes that this is an opportunity. And she had an unexpected opportunity while she was there, because she's a poet. She's a poetess. So she has the opportunity to put her skills into practice. And what she doesn't know is her love interest is in the audience. Whoa! I did not see that coming. I was very excited to see Darius there. And she has this opportunity, right? So she can get on the bus and go back home, or she can get in the car with Darius and he can drive her back home. So she has all these hours with him. And so she decides to take that drive. Okay. And I think we've all been there. Do I get in the car with this man or not? But anyway, so she gets in the car and they stop by Grandma's house. And what we see is not all grandmas are created equal. Okay. Because Darius' grandma, she was like, okay, who are you? She didn't say it like that, but everything about her said, like, you're in the wrong place. And I think this is such a contrast to who Darius and his family, we don't spend a lot of time with Darius' parents, but there's a definite contrast between his parents' response to the Benitez family and the grandmother's response to the Benitez family. And Grandma made it very clear, like, you are not a part of our world. And and you saw all that that Brooklyn pride that Zuri has, you saw it come roaring to life with Grandma, and be in their house. So,
Zuri
Grandma.
does not code switch.
Yeah, no, Zuri. Yeah, she does not hold her punches. If Grandma was her age, they probably would have been scrapping. I'll just say that.
Michelle?
So, being completely clear, I love Zuri's love for her wish and dream to go to Howard. I am a Howard girl. So I'm a Brooklyn girl who had legacy at Howard University and followed said legacy to Howard. I am a Howard graduate and felt everything that she knew about being a Howard girl and wanting that. Of course, I'm looking at it from the other side of having done that. One thing I love about Zuri is she almost doesn't, she's so proud of who she is that she doesn't know that there is a level of code switching that takes place, which is why she reacts to his grandmother the way he did. My sense would have sent me on the different route. I would have probably been excessively nice to Grandma. I wouldn't have reacted, but I would have told my mama about that lady when I got home. I would have probably been very, very kind and appropriate, but when I got home, my mama and my grandmother would have probably called Grandma and had some words for her, because that's how Miss Dinah was. Miss Dinah would have probably cleared stuff up for Darius's grandmother. On another level, I loved her trip to Howard because my parents would have never let me get on no bus talking about you're going to go spend a day at Howard. My mom would have been like, wait, what? I'm going to send 5 chaperones with you. So there's a whole different level. But at the same time, I appreciated the fact that this girl stands up for herself. And she's like, how do I get a scholarship to this school? She already understands that she might be an outsider, but she's okay with that. She's like, I'm going to ask the questions. And I love the fact that a young lady comes up to her afterwards and says, thank you for asking that question. Nobody else wanted to. I remember sitting in Crampton and thinking, I want to ask a question, but I don't know if I should. Like, you know, wearing a different, like understanding that you're different. She understands she's different in a completely different way. It's empowering, and where for a lot of us, it's kind of like hold back a little bit. As for his grandmother, I almost understood that sense of this version of Black American who has gained a certain level of status, and that makes you think, well, we should never associate with that level of status that's below where we are. And I love the fact that Darius's parents do not exactly see that. We get this understanding that they're like, okay, we're going to move to the circle that fits us. And even that circle doesn't quite fit. But, yeah, I completely appreciated the fact that Zuri stands up to his grandmother. His grandmother is very condescending, and Zuri doesn't play that. And as much as adult me wants to say, girl, you should be respectful, I guess 17-year-old Michelle is thinking, good for you, girl, because I might not have done it, but somebody should.
Well, respect is earned. So,
there you have it.
And the way that woman treated her from the jump, just from seeing her, she was just so nasty. And I was like, wow. But turnabout is fair play, because if you think about it, Zuri treated Darius and his brother the same way when they came to the hood.
Yeah.
So, now she knows how they felt.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
I know we got to wrap it up. We have 6 minutes left. So, what did you think of the poetry throughout the book? Because Zuri was very gifted poet.
Yeah,
I loved that she threw that in every now and then.
So the imagery and symbolism in this book is so profound. Like it brings it adds a layer of depth to the story beyond just the words that the characters are saying, beyond the narrative. So there is no doubt that, this author is extremely talented, and then to take that talent and have it flow through the voice of your character with her and her spoken word poetry is powerful. Now, I listened to this book and I have the ebook, so it was read by Elizabeth Acevedo, who is just brilliant in her own right. I probably said her name wrong. I see Michelle mouthing something. So my apologies. But she is a very, very gifted reader, and she helped to bring Zuri to life. She really did, as well as the poetry. And I know you write poetry as well, Lisa. So I know you were in your element with this character.
I was.
Yeah,
nothing meant that so. Level.
Yeah, what I thought about you when she read her poetry, it was almost like interludes, in the story where she would, interdisperse her poetry, and I was like, okay, we're getting ready to transition. Like it was like transition points within the story when you saw the poetry come onto the page. So really, really enjoyed it, and I'm not a YA reader at all. I'll add that, and I really enjoyed the story.
I'll very quickly say I love the poetry. It's weird because I did a tandem read, so I was reading and listening, and it felt very much like Elizabeth Acevedo's The Poet X. And if you enjoyed this book in the audio version, I would say go back and read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Totally connected with it. It's beautiful. And it very much put me in the same mindset of just creative storyteller along with this creative poet. And I'll just say, I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I loved seeing the imagery within the book. I felt like I was in Bushwick when she was talking about the streets, corners, and the guy with the dreads that used to be there on the corner selling bags. And I'm like, I felt a part of Bushwick, and I've never been to Brooklyn. Okay,
right.
So this was absolutely amazing storytelling.
Yes.
So
yes,
we have 3 minutes if we want to wrap this up.
Okay. Well, I will say that I have been to Brooklyn, but Zuri's Brooklyn seems pretty cool. So, I would love to visit her Brooklyn through her eyes. Michelle is actually, we're reading her book choice for October. So, Michelle, what are we reading?
Oh, my goodness. I wasn't prepared for that.
What? You told me yesterday that you were.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have chosen a book that's been on my radar. It's called Go Deep. It's a friends to lovers story. It's called by Risley Adams, and the character is a romance writer. I think she's an erotic romance writer who's kind of lost her spark, and she asks her best friend to help her get the spark back. And I'm excited because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I thought that Talia Hibbert is reading it, and I am excited for us all to read it together.
Okay. Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yes, so do I. Okay, listeners, we thank you so much for joining us for Women on Words Book Club for the month of September. Again, if you have not read Pride by Ibi Zoboi, I definitely recommend it. It is a YA novel. So it's a different type of read than what you normally see on the show, but a beautifully poignant retelling of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. So until next time, be awesome, be amazing, be wow. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.